Well, next tonight, as the lambing season gets underway, farmers are becoming increasingly concerned about a disease which causes abnormalities in newborn lambs. The Schmallenberg virus is spread by midges. So far, it's been recorded at more than 20 farms. Our environment correspondent, David Gregory-Kumar, is at Hereford Livestock Market for us tonight. David, right to say that this is also now affecting cattle as well?
That's right, Giles. This is a disease that affects sheep and cattle, and this is a meeting tonight at the livestock market to discuss the disease and also some other things farmers are worried about, like the price of lamb. Now, we don't know how many individual animals have died because of Schmallenberg, but what we do now know is how many individual farms have been affected by the disease here in the Midlands.
On a farm near Wolverhampton, a bit of a problem. This lamb has one leg bent backwards, meaning mum needs a bit of help. But otherwise, all is fine, which this year is a real relief, as farmers worry about Schmallenberg.
Because it's an invisible disease, it's really something you can't predict, and I mean, because you don't see the animals going sick or anything like that, it's very difficult to actually know what we're going to get. Lambs born in January are destined for our Easter Sunday lunch. They're a welcome cash boost for farmers ahead of main lambing in March. But what do they show about Schmallenberg? Well, in the Midlands, we've seen 22 farms with confirmed signs of the disease in sheep. That's compared to 139 farms where the outbreak has been confirmed in cattle.
So although we think of Schmallenberg as a disease that involves sheep, in fact, you can see from those figures that in the Midlands, we've got more farms and holdings with cattle on them affected by the disease than those with sheep. So what's going on?
Well, basically, it's easier to spot the signs of the disease in adult cattle.
Dairy farmers would see evidence of milk drop, they would see maybe fever symptoms and diarrhoea as well, and they would call the vet in at that particular point, take milk samples or blood samples and confirm the disease that way, where in many cases on sheep farms they're waiting until they see malformed lambs to report.
Schmallenberg poses no risk to humans, but it is here, although at a low level, and with no vaccine immediately available for our farmers, they've no choice but to wait and see what happens next.
Well, with me is Elwyn Maddie, who's a farmer here in Herefordshire who's had Schmallenberg on his farm. Elwyn, what did it mean for your farm?
Well, it's the second season for us, and what we actually happened on our farm is we had premature births, which are mummified cows just born dead out on the ground. And as I said, it's the second year, which is devastating.
And what does that mean financially for your farm?
For us personally, we lost about 20% of our herd. And yeah, on a cost figure, I guess it's cost us 20 grand in the last 12 months.
I mean, can you get that back? Compensation, insurance?
No, there's none of that. Listen, we accept it this year, but my concern is this an ongoing problem? Can we get a vaccine in place to deal with this? Because if this is ongoing year on year, it's going to ruin a lot of cattle businesses.
But you've got sheep as well, and you're coming up to lambing.
Yes, well, that's the other big concern. Hopefully that we actually lamb a little bit later in the season, and just perhaps, we may have missed this problem. But yeah, that is a big concern because we don't want it in the sheep and the cattle.
I mean, the government does say it's a low-impact disease.
It's certainly not a low-impact disease on our farm, that's a certainty. If it had just been a one-off, I would have accepted that, but the problem for us is the don't-know factor. We don't know enough about it. We want DEFRA to get a grip of this, and there is a vaccine that hasn't been licensed yet, and we need it out in the marketplace.
Elwyn Maddie, thank you very much. So it's at a low level here, but as you heard, the impact can be enormous.
David in Hereford, thank you.